Over the course of the 4 seasons of You, Joe has found himself every single time being infatuated with somebody, sparking up a relationship, and then a horrific end being met for almost all of them. With each individual bringing something different when it came to being in a relationship with Joe, ranging from Kate in the most recent season to Beck, Love, Candace, and others when going all the way back to the first season, I thought it would be worth taking a look at all of them and seeing which one has been the worst and which one has been the best other half to him. So let's get into it. Here is the ranking of Joe Goldberg's love interests in You. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Coming in last place on this list is Candace. Although we never really got to see her as Joe's on-screen love interest as part of the developing plot, and when we did see them together it only being in the form of flashbacks, this character definitely proved to be the most annoying out of all of them. It's kind of bad really. I feel this is because in season 2 of the show, us as the viewers were still charmed by Joe's kind side, and we were letting the horrible things that he had done be pushed to the side. Joe did try to kill her after all, so it makes sense as to why she wanted to seek revenge and take Joe down. I would say though, when it comes to all of the other love interests that Joe has had, she just didn't make an impact like the rest of them. Maybe that's down to the screen time and the framing of the character's position when it came to Joe, but I think she sits right at the bottom of this ranking. I don't think there was actually one main thing that I liked about the character, so we'll move on from this one quickly. In 4th place on this list, we have none other than the latest love interest, Catherine Lockwood, who is also known as Kate. Ever since Kate arrived on screen, I found there was something that just didn't quite click, and it didn't allow her to compare to Love, Beck, and Marienne. And I think a lot of it came down to her personality. She didn't seem like the typical type of person that Joe would usually fall for, and I found her personality to be quite bland, and also she was very standoffish and confrontational to a lot of the characters in the show, and even to Joe when he was trying to get closer to her. She must be a match for Joe when it comes to compatibility though, because she said how she didn't mind all of the horrible things that he had done. And she also admitted to doing some terrible things too. So they do have a connection and traits that link them together, but to me it just felt as though it was the weakest out of them all in terms of attraction on Joe's side. It felt like Joe needed her more than he wanted her at that moment of his life. I never really connected to Kate, but I would say that as season 4 went on, and more so season 4 part 2, she did start growing on me a bit more. Now 3rd place. This is a character that was good in their initial debut season, but upon their return, I think they topped their initial performance, and this is Marienne. I liked the story that Joe had with Marienne for a couple of different reasons. Joe felt as though he was genuinely in love with her, but what made it difficult for him was the fact that he was still married to Love at the time, so it was somebody that he couldn't just go out and get and publicly be with, like all of the other times that we'd seen Joe. Marienne was a character that out of all of them was most probably the most similar to Beck. She was a lot kinder and more caring than Love, Candace, and Kate, and I think that's what I liked about her most. She seemed like a kind individual that genuinely cared for Joe, and then when she realized that he was a deranged maniac, she tried to escape, which she did do, until Joe got her in season 4. I thought her return was really well timed in the story too, and we saw that she was the one and only love interest of Joe's to be able to escape death and being inside of his cage. So she outsmarted Joe and got her happy ending away from him. Tati Gabrielle delivered this character so well, and she's 100% one of the more likable characters in the entirety of the show. The final 2. Coming in 2nd place on this list is the OG, and that's Guinevere Beck. Beck was the first main love interest of Joe's in the entirety of the show, and she's the person that I would say is the 2nd best across the 4 seasons. She felt extremely well fleshed out, and they wrote her in a way that allowed her character to be a one-season wonder, as if to imply that if the show wasn't going to ever return, the character of Beck was well-rounded, written, and performed, leaving no stones unturned. Beck was relatable and somebody that you felt as though you wanted to succeed. The pain that was in her eyes when she was captured in Joe's cage during the finale was something that has stuck with me even till this day. It was a scene that was so well performed. And then for her to be killed whilst being on the verge of potentially being freed by Paco was a horrifically heartbreaking moment. One thing that also separated her from the bottom part of the list is the fact that she actually felt quite likable, and that she stood for the good in people. Her hunger to find out what happened to Candace was something that was present, and like Nadia was in season 4, she wanted to find out all of the information that she could. I also feel as though Beck and Joe had a strong connection in the early parts of the show. Their attraction was present, and it felt as though they bounced off of each other in a way that felt natural, with dialogue that felt genuine, so she definitely deserves to be number 2 in this ranking. Then in first place, the love interest that steals the show and I feel held her own on screen alongside Joe the best is none other than the legend of the show herself, Love Quinn. As far as Candace is at the bottom of the list from 4th place, Love is that distance but from 2nd place and at the top. Victoria Pedretti gave everything to this role, and she created a character that was Joe's equal, and was somebody that even he was disgusted by. The range of emotions that Love emitted towards Joe was incredible to watch. From the happy, friendly, and loving version in early Season 2, the completely shocked version at the end of Season 2, and then the murderous one that we got at the end of Season 3. Love is art, and she perfected that character. I feel she was the only one out of them all that was able to give as good as what she got when it came to Joe. If he was cheating, then she was. If he was killing, then she was too. It was a twisted love story that needed Pedretti's evil character to be present within it. Her visual and audible performance were levels above the rest, and whilst it's easy to say that she had more screen time than the others, if you take Season 2 on its own, she still delivered a wide range of emotions that allowed you to feel invested into the character. Love was and still is the best love interest that Joe Goldberg has ever had, and I'd be surprised if that ever changes. All 5 of the love interests in the show definitely held their own in the seasons that they were in, but I would say that since Season 2 of the show, where Love Quinn was first introduced, there has been a small and gradual drop-off in the love interests that Joe has had. Kate is the worst in recent times, but I'm hoping with more screen time and the revelation that she is actually quite a bad individual, we'll start to see a different side to her. But for now, Love Quinn is most definitely the best love interest that Joe has ever had. So, there you have it, the ranking of Joe Goldberg's love interests in You. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. Who is your favourite love interest? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.